Welcome to the Convention Creators Podcast. Today, I'm running things solo once again, but for a very good reason, because I'm joined by none other than the incredibly talented cosplayer and content creator, Striblob. If you've ever been anywhere in the Sonic community, you've probably seen him in his amazing Dr. Eggman cosplay, or maybe you've spotted him as Vox from Has Been Hotel. But there is so much more to Tom's journey as a cosplayer, from breaking into the Sonic fandom through movies, to gaining confidence and raising awareness about accessibility at conventions. So we have a lot to talk about.
What a pro. What a pro. First take. Calculon levels of, all my circuits. One take, just... Brilliant.
Yes, we're back. It's another episode of the podcast. Once again, all by myself, but I'm not. Because look, we have Striblob here. We have Tom.
Me.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today for a delightful episode, a bit of a chit-chat.
Honoured to be on this.
Honoured. To be fair, you've been very engaged with this podcast since its inception.
Why wouldn't I be? I love it. Love it. What you and Jill's have created is, incredible.
You are too kind. But yeah, you've been so engaged, so it only makes sense that we finally have you on. As the Eggman and many other outfit extraordinaire. Not that anyone could tell that you have any interest in any of the Sonic stuff.
No, absolutely
nothing
not.
at all. So, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing this. It does mean the world to us because I have followed you since what feels like forever. Back in the day, by which I mean 2020, 2021.
My goodness, yeah. Yeah.
Which...
Yes, I suppose 2020 was when the first movie came out, wasn't it? Crikey.
And it has been an interesting journey to watch you go through every iteration of Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. Very impressive. And I guess I want to get straight into it in the sense that I have seen many Sonic cosplayers. Shockingly, in the world I live in, I have seen Sonic cosplayers before.
You've seen them with your own eyes?
With my own two
Incredible.
eyes. It's crazy. What are the chances? But I would say the majority, if not everyone I've ever met who is known as doing Sonic cosplay, they have been a fan from a child, or they've just been very much inspired by video games. They will cosplay as these really obscure video game characters from Sonic and the Secret Rings and all this sort of stuff. But you have very much prioritized in terms of Sonic, or at least it's what you're best known for, is the movies.
Yeah.
And I would think it's fair to say that actually the movies has probably been your through point into the fandom in the way it is now. So I guess the big question is, how? Why? What was it about the movies that was I'm getting involved. This is it.
I suppose I had a Sega Mega Drive growing up, so I knew of, the little blue menace over there. I did know of him. But yeah, I wouldn't say I was a super fan. I wasn't good at the games. I didn't know, I had a few of the comics and things, but when the films came out, I've always loved Jim Carrey. I think a lot of people were hyped for Jim Carrey coming in as Robotnik.
Yes.
So that already the hype was building, and I was going, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to go and see it. And I don't think I realised just how incredible, and it sounds really dramatic to say life-changing, but I came out of the first film and I went, I now need to make my entire persona this. I need to be Robotnik. I need to be Ivo. And I remember going and I shaved off all of my hair because I was I really like the version of him at the end of the first film. Spoilers if you haven't seen the first film.
Catch up if you haven't at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But
yes.
And I shaved off my beard. I kept the little moustache. I had twiddly little moustache. I got some little glasses. And I think that's the ADHD in me. I didn't necessarily want to be him, but I wanted to go, I can adapt some of that into my own life and go, let's do this, be inspired by it. But they're such fun films. Again, seeing a good adaptation of a video game to the big screen, it was just Well done. You've done it. Finally. It only took a few, decades, but you've done it. It can be done.
What specifically about Jim Carrey's performance, though, is what spoke to you about that performance specifically? That
He just has so much fun with it. Like
yeah,
he just
yeah,
brings. I don't know. It feels very much like he's gone back and gone right. Let's look at Ace Ventura. Let's look at all these various characters I've been throughout the years, and combine it and embody that in his version of Doctor Robotnik, which I think he does perfectly. I just laughed through a lot of the film. Just I couldn't stop smiling.
it's just like
I couldn't. My face
it's
hurt.
again.
Yeah, I felt like Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. Like that was the level of like I'm so happy.
You did have some interest or somebody attached into the games, and then but it was the movies that sort of fully drew you in. Since the movies, have you gotten involved, more interested in the games, or are you very much a movie boy?
I think the movies are still at the forefront of my mind, but I have gone back and gone onto like the arcades, and whenever I go there, I will really. I'll try and play. I say play because I am not good at Sonic games, like, especially the older ones, more retro, like original Sonic games. Just terrible at.
I think until the movies, there wasn't a lot of Eggman cosplay. There was always one, maybe two, but I guess because a lot of people would rather cosplay as like the animal characters. Basically, they wanted to do Jet, they wanted to do Rouge, they wanted to do Shadow.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to do Sonic. Like so many people want to do Sonic. Do you think there's any hesitancy about doing like for you personally, stepping into the shoes of being an Eggman? Is it weird to do villainous characters? Is it interesting at all? Like, do you find because I know a lot of cosplayers like to very much role play in their characters, and you're often going around being a bit of a villainous dick.
I'm not sure I've ever been described as a villainous dick, but it kind of suits. Again, I think it comes from the amount of fun you can have with it. Like as a child, I was very shy and nervous, and I can't like if I said to young me, I'd be doing this now, I'd be like, nah, you're a
Yeah.
liar, full of shit. Um, and no, I just have fun with it. I do sort of get into character when I shave the hair off, shave the beard off to stick on a fake mustache, which kind of feels a bit ironic, but here we are. This is the world I live, the life I lead. Yeah, I do just have fun with it. I like engaging with other cosplayers, and I think it's nice if you have sort of the goodies and the baddies. But no, it's not felt hard to like jump into that role. I've just gone like Vox from Has Been Hotel, like Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town, seeing how much fun these actors and people have had with portraying their villainous characters.
Yeah.
I thought I sort of want that. I just want to have fun and make people laugh. I think that's a big if you can put a smile on someone's face doing something you enjoy, spread the positivity. Even if I am being to quote you, villainous dick, I will quite happily do it.
I feel like that's going to haunt me now as a quote.
Yeah, it will. I will be clipping it and I'll be putting it on my socials over again with like klaxons, Striblob is a villainous dick, and then with your face like swirling round, coming at the screen. You'll love it. It'll be brilliant.
I can't wait for that. It's going to be amazing. When you are
Sorry, I've thrown you right off, haven't I?
when you are being a villanistic and going around, have you ever received reactions from like the more long time Sonic fans? Like how has it been received by those like hardcore Sonic fans? Because there are definitely a lot of them who go to these sort of events.
Yeah, I think it's mainly positive, really. Yeah, I don't think I've met anyone that was like, "What a bastard." I try not to be, even when being a villain. But yeah, no, I think long-term Sonic fans have really enjoyed it. I guess growing up with because this is how I'd think about it. Say if I grew up with Sonic, I was like a massive nerd at the start, knew everything about it. Seeing people get into it via newer sort of releases and bits, that's great because it's just bringing more and more diversity into the
Very true.
community.
Very true.
That's using my big boy brain there. I can sound like an adult every now and again. It's great. Doesn't happen often, but you've got it. You caught it in 4K. But yeah, I thought that's how I felt with One Piece when like the Netflix version came out. There was like a resurgence, like loads of new fans got into it, and it was lovely that you could sort of talk to people that didn't know about it before that now really enjoy it. So that's sort of the way I think and would hope that people felt about me going, oh, I love Sonic, I'm a massive Sonic fan, even though I only know the movies. And they wouldn't go, oh, you're just a fake fan, you don't really like it. It's like, if you enjoy something and you have a passion for it, of course you're a real fan, you know? I'm not going to be told what I like and don't like. Thank you very much.
It's true. The reactions I've seen around you have been really positive, and I will say, especially at MegaCon London back in January now,
Yeah, start of the year.
the reaction to Gerald was insane. Like
Yeah.
everyone, especially because I guess the movie had just come out, so there were lots of Marias darting around,
Yeah.
all looking for their grandfather. So it was kind of crazy just how the reaction to that seemed to be just another level up.
Like, I think being around your stall as well with the giant Sonic and Shadow by Printing by Rabbits, which if you haven't checked him out, please do, because like if you've been watching the podcast and you haven't seen him or heard of him,
They're fully coloured now.
Yeah.
They're all painted now.
I saw some of the updates. I'm looking forward to that. But being around your stall, and it was just a real nice sort of meeting point, and the Sonic people just kept coming out of the woodwork, and it was like, oh yeah, and you know, do some videos, do some pictures, meet some people, add them on socials. It's what, yeah. Again, like I was a bit overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie. I do seem to have a type, and it's large, bold, mustached men. And if that's the criteria, if that's the job description, I'm like, I want in. That's what I'm cosplaying next. But yeah, we had some great times at MegaCon. Like, it was just brilliant. It was brilliant, honestly.
But to give you full credit, so for context, for people who don't know, when the Sonic 3 movie came out, you actually stayed at mine and we watched it twice, I think.
Hell yeah, we did.
And you cosplayed as Robotnik one day and Gerald the other.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to say, I was impressed because it's not like you just shave your head and slap on a lab coat and you're done. Like, there was a whole makeup.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No,
There was a whole like, I'm gonna age myself up. I'm gonna paint in the wrinkles. Like,
I've never done that before. Like, certainly not as in great detail as I did.
how did you find it?
Fun?
Yeah,
Yeah, really. Yeah. Again, it's like, don't be scared to try these things, because again, you don't know until you give it a go. And with
True.
you know, podcasts and media such as this,
Yes.
there are ways that you can get into it and go, oh, I'm not by myself. Someone's probably done this. Let's see how they did it and try and implement it and do it myself and learn from it. And if it's a bit rubbish the first time, do it again. If you enjoy it, I'd say do it again and get better at it.
Very, very true. It's the level of effort you get to, I think, is quite impressive. And it definitely, I've seen it garner a variety of interesting reactions, usually from people being like, Eggman! That's right, it's Eggman! Especially when the second day we were hanging out together, we went to see the Sonic movie, and it was the Saturday, so the first like weekend it was out, and the amount of parents who came up to you and were like, can my child take a photo of you? He wants a photo of Eggman.
I don't think the kids did. I think the parents were the ones.
I reckon there might be a few parents who like that.
Sort of forcing their kids towards us, and they're like, I don't even like Sonic. So, have a photo with the bald man.
Would you say those reactions was that one of your favorite reactions? Do you have any particular unique, weird, intriguing reactions or interactions you ever had while as Eggman? I have a feeling you have. I've seen some of them on TikTok.
There are some I'm not sure I can say. Now, this is going back to the very first time I cosplayed the flight suit version of Eggman, and it was at Kitacon. I remember walking into the sellers hall at Kitacon, and the very first stall in front of me was Clock Tour Creations. I don't know if you know Chloe. You might know Chloe from the cosplay scene. It's how I and the artist scene. It's how I actually met Gilles through her. And she was the very first person I met in the dealers hall, and I've got them here. I've still got them in their wrapping to keep them nice and pristine. But these stickers of Robotnik from the first film,
Yeah.
and she was feeling incredibly nervous because she was like, I don't know, how am I going to sell well? It's quite nervous setting up for a convention, and
Yes.
now you've seen it as well, I suppose.
Yes, I have now. Firsthand, I know, yeah.
And our first sort of interaction together was me rocking up as Robotnik and immediately buying all of the Sonic and Robotnik merch, and we just completely just like clicked and meshed, and a friendship was formed like instantly. And it's amazing how like just being dressed as someone that we both had a hyperfixation on has sort of led to me helping out on her stall. Yeah.
You do, and it's interesting because you talked about like just by cosplaying as a character, you will make new friends. And one thing that sticks out in my head was, and this wouldn't have happened if you weren't Eggman, and specifically weren't Jim Carrey's Eggman, was that whole day you spent with an Agent Stone.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, just this wild, like so much. I saw so many TikTok stories of you and Agent Stone. It's like, oh, it's the perfect pairing. Like,
Taha is a legend. And again, he's someone who I've met through Chloe. It's amazing how everyone knows everyone within these communities.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
That was great. And that's not the first time it's happened with an Agent Stone either. Again, you seem to gravitate towards each other and go, we must get these Stobotnik pictures together. We need to fully embrace their relationship and just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. God, that was so much fun. Oh, take me back. Take me back.
If only we could. There'll be other times. I'm sure Agent Stone and Eggman will be reunited another time. Absolutely. And it's getting funny to me that through those videos and stuff, just the crazy shenanigans that you get up to with Agent Stone, with these other characters, drowning Sonic in a river, like all these sort of silly things you do. Even this popped up I was scrolling through TikTok, and suddenly Amy Rose was twerking.
I thought that would be the one you were going to say.
And I was like, is that is Tom? That is Striblob. That is my boy. Just twerking out.
I ruined that costume. It wasn't even mine. That's another story. Realize cosplay. Let me borrow her.
It
Amy
was
Rose.
hers.
Yep.
Tom.
No, but it was we were dressing up as things one of our friends likes, like the things she likes. But it was her birthday, so we all cosplayed. I cosplayed as Amy Rose. She cosplayed as Kurumi from Sanrio, like Hello Kitty. So we all went as someone even went as Tom Jones. And
Amazing.
I was originally going to go as Eggman, and I went, I don't want to shave all my hair, my beard. And so I said, can I borrow your costume? Which the answer to was yes. And I only found out a few days ago that I'd stretched it horribly because I'm taller. And I was dancing quite wildly, as you probably saw from those TikToks. Because we went to a couple of bars and it was a lot of day drinking. So I was wearing it all day. It was it was really fun getting into the taxis in and out with like various different drivers each day, just being like, all right. And it's like, I'm great. I'm great. Are you okay upon seeing this?
So I find that so interesting, purely because, I hope you don't mind me saying this. When I first met you, you were not shy, but you were much more reserved. Yeah. And like you did the cosplay, but you weren't like day drinking and in some energy.
Wild.
Amy Rose cosplay and going around being an absolute manic in the most wonderful way possible. Being a villainous dickhead. No, villainous dick. Sorry, not villainous dick.
Oh, adding words to it now. Yeah, evolving the insults we see.
No, but I've seen such an evolution in your confidence in cosplay, and especially how you present that out in the world and to people. Because, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, one of the things you said to me is, actually one of the events I dragged you into was one of the first times you were sort of forced to have a full audience stare at you and you had to perform, be entertaining.
I don't actually want to be here. He's holding me hostage. Help.
Because that was an event called Sonic Fan Fest, which was like the spiritual successor to another event called Western Supersonic.
Yep.
And I was doing a on stage bit, doing a team quiz for some really naff prizes from what I remember, and
Fantastic prizes from my
fantastic
memory.
prizes.
Yeah.
The best Sonic stationery from Primark is probably what was on offer. But I always, as a rule, when I do things like that, I always like to pre-plan people to come on stage
Then you
and
chose
sort of.
me.
I chose you because I had met you. I think the first time I'd met you was at the Sonic Symphony. Um,
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
yes,
crikey. Yeah, it was.
and you were in, I think, the OG iteration of Eggman at that point. I don't think we moved on to two yet. I
Yeah, no,
think it
it's
was
still
still
flight
one.
suit. Yeah, still the flight
Yeah,
suit
yeah, yeah.
version. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're in that era of Eggman, and I thought, oh, this person seems like he's quite confident on stage and stuff. And it was only afterwards that you said to me, "Thank you for inviting me. I don't do stuff like this."
Yeah, no, again, I've never really done like cosplay competitions or been on stage. It kind of reminds me of being back in school when you're, even if you don't want a role in the school play, the teacher is like, you will be that tree and you will be a fabulous tree. You will stand on, you don't have lines, you just stand in the background, but still, all eyes on you.
So yeah, I don't feel bad because I personally think that it was a great stepping stone for yourself.
I agree.
But but it was interesting that I invited you on to basically be a team captain. Bearing in mind, as we said earlier, you were mainly into the franchise via the movies. So I was asking all the game trivia, and you were
Yeah.
like, I
I
don't
was
know
like,
that
I felt a bit set up. I'm not gonna lie.
like that could be Green Hill Zone. That could be a level from Mario. I don't know. Like it's yeah, it was interesting. What was going through your mind during that whole experience of being like a team quiz captain
I think
in this
help.
this convention?
Help. Just in big red letters. No. I think I was very excited. It was, again, it's nice. Actually, it's really nice hearing you say that you've seen like a development. Because as someone who, does suffer with anxiety, it means a heck of a lot going, you seem really confident. You did a great job. And it's like that little bit of affirmation goes a really long way. And it's great because it did do a lot for my confidence. And it made me go, oh, I can do these things. Like, don't let
Yeah,
hold yourself back. And I was like,
that's a
I don't want to disappoint one of the biggest Sonic content creators I know. I've got to do a good job. And so I went, yeah, let's just go with it. So I was behind
mm,
the stall again with Clock Tour Creations. I was helping her
yeah,
out at that convention,
mm,
and it sort of was getting nearer to the time of the event, and I was like excited, nervous. It was kind of a mixed bag, but made in a good way. Because you're lovely and you made it very easy to want to,
thank
go.
you.
You could have gone, you're getting on that stage and you're doing it whether you like it or not. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. And yeah, I think being on stage, the main thing that went through my head was, I know nothing about Sonic. I really hope the person who's on my team does, because this ain't going to go well for them. And I'm going to look
It
like a fool.
luckily they did, and it went very well. And actually, I think you both played off each other in that sense. Also, the fact that you had chosen a fellow Eggman
Had to be
uh,
done. Had to be
made
done.
it
I just
all
the
all the better.
IQ radiating off of them. I was like, they've played the Sonic games. They know.
I think what you said about that anxiety and that knowing that, oh, I can do this, I'm
Yeah,
just holding myself back, is such a valid comment because I think many people can relate to that. I personally relate to that a lot in the sense that I am very much an introvert. I'm not a big social person. I am very anxious about situations I don't know about, but I have developed this weird mentality of just do it and it will be fine
yeah. I think
and
you need to
and
put
get
the
through the
Shia
other side.
LaBeouf. Just do it.
Just do
that's
it.
that's what I think of in my head. Like it is just do it. Um, yeah, because you can end up missing out on. I don't know if you,
Mm,
because you've done a MegaCon now,
yes.
and you wouldn't have thought, oh, Jay is shy, because you're always interviewing, or you are like Sonic at that convention. You were zipping around doing a bit of everything. You were everywhere,
Busy man, yeah. Busy
and
boy.
it's amazing, isn't it, when you throw yourself into like one of those hyperfixations. No, you love to talk about
Yes.
them on
Oh, I
on
do. We
this
do
show. We
here.
love a
We do.
fixation. And it's brilliant to see, because what's more lovely than seeing your friends enjoy themselves and thrive, knowing that they are a little bit anxious, and you go, look how far they've come, or look how far you've come.
Yeah.
It's because we don't notice it ourselves. As
No.
it's so much easier to give advice to people and go,
Mhm.
I've dealt with this maybe from a past experience. Oh, maybe this will work for you, and then focus on your friends rather than looking after number one, because you're like, that's selfish. It's like, no, look after yourself, and then you can look after your friends.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of neurodivergent people within the cosplay community, within the artist community, just conventions in general. And it's important to remind yourself to not burn yourself out, to not get so much in here that what you're meant to be doing for fun actually becomes a chore and stressful, because then I think that's the point where you go, maybe I should take a step back for a bit.
Do you feel the general experience of Sonic Fan Fest and everything? How is that and everything forward? How has your confidence, do you feel, changed?
I think it's just done this. I mean, there's like anything, I think there's been a few
Yeah.
like peaks and troughs, but it's gone up, and I think that's due to a lot of factors. It's not simple as going, oh yeah, I went on stage once and now,
Yeah.
you know,
And then everything was fine. And
which would be
was
great for your ego. I know that, like, Jay, you
I,
changed me
I
as a
would,
man, which could be
I would
taken in
be,
very different ways, but but confidence-wise, yes.
I would be clipping it and showing it around, saying, "Look, people, I can fix you."
Do it. Yeah, yeah.
I can't.
Disclaimer, I can't.
Yeah, I actually really can't. Go on, sorry.
But there's factors. There's like, I have gone to therapy. My biggest supporter is my wife, Harriet. Hello. I love Harriet. She honestly, I don't know what I did to deserve such a wonderful human being in my life. Yeah, to get all emotional. He's not just funny ha-has all the time. She just stuck with me. She didn't stick through me. That sounded violent, didn't it? I love you. Sounding a bit threatening now. No, she stuck by me and just always encourages me to go to these events. She sees how much joy and how important this sort of social circle is. And so she'll quite happily go, please go to this convention and enjoy yourself, thrive with your friends. Like, I was depressed, I was anxious, I had so much going on like over the years, and it took a few people to go, just go to therapy. And I went, I know that's what I need, but it's scary to take that jump and
Yes.
let's say all this to a stranger. So rewarding, so beneficial, and you can get it for free.
Mm.
It's a resource you can get for free. It's great.
So definitely, I think that's very wise advice. Actually, I'm going to ask what could be a deep question. So let's try it. To see if it's
Dive
because
in.
we've talked about that introverted side, the anxiety side. Also, you talked about struggles of depression and stuff and things like that. And but also this nature of like putting on this cosplay and going out into the world and interacting and being a villanistic trademark. Where do you find, or have you found, the balance between the performative nature of cosplay and being a genuine version of yourself?
No, no. I think it's a constant shift. Again, I've recently started ADHD medication. I'm only on like day 17, like it's just over 2 weeks. And so I'm still doing things to try and work out the balance. Because as an impulsive person, I will, when I'm at an event, take as many pictures and try and do as much content as possible. I won't necessarily upload it there and then, but I'll have it in sort of like the back catalogue, so when I get home, I can do stuff with it, which I don't. I literally will sort of upload like furiously for maybe 2 or 3 days after the convention, to which I'm probably knackered anyway. And then I'll just forget about it and move on to the next thing. Not through wanting to, but just because I'm like, it seems like so much effort to actually go, I've got to edit this now. I have a huge respect for how you do it with the podcast, because it is draining. It is draining. It's fun. And the end result, it's so
fun.
worth it. It's so worth it. But yeah, balance is a word that crops up a lot in my life. And again, yeah, I had an example, actually. I thought about this. I went to Pokemon EUIC for the trading card game championships, and I was going to cosplay, and I was going to shave my hair, shave my beard. Again, it was literally Gerald Robotnik, Blaine, the Fire Pokemon gym leader, and I just wasn't feeling it. And so, do you know what? Old me would have forced myself to cosplay because I'd be like, "You're going to miss out. You're going to regret it." And so, yeah, sometimes you might, but I didn't cosplay. And do you know what? I actually enjoyed myself for the weekend because I just went and had fun. And I wasn't stressed about, oh, is this part of my costume right? Is this... And I think it's so hard to know how you're feeling because you don't always know. You can be like, I feel a bit sad. You might be like, I don't know why I feel like it. But the sooner you take all these pressures off yourself and all these rules you've put in place for yourself, and like I said, just go and enjoy it and have fun. It made such a difference. Like, I think cosplaying for fun as a whole, just when I stopped worrying about numbers, interaction, and you just went, I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to upload it because I want to, because I'm enjoying it, and then I can just step away and go and do, the washing up. Oh, fun, exciting life I lead. Yeah, again, this is very much an ADHD thing. Completely forgotten the original question and gone off on a tangent, like I will.
No,
sorry if it causes the editing process.
It's all relevant because I think your experience at that Pokemon event, because you still made content, you still did TikToks, you still, but I guess you didn't have. I guess you took away that pressure of having to be like, oh, I need to perform because I'm dressed as this character, so I need to behave in this way.
I could be more myself, certainly. So yeah, even though I didn't cosplay, I'm still going to have fun with it. I'm going to wear, loads of my pink stuff, which I might not wear out in public as much. So it's nice to have an opportunity to do that. And I have this little slowpoke puppet. This is really wholesome. Oh my goodness.
Detail.
And it'll lead on to stuff that we talk about later, actually, because as you know, I suffer from seizures now. When I was in hospital, sort of like a week after it happened, initially, my friend bought me in a load of slowpoke stuff, and he brought me this amazing slowpoke puppet, and that lived with me at the hospital. And it was really nice to take that to EUIC, to this event, and go, months ago, you didn't think you'd be able to attend conventions, or you thought everything's over, you have to cancel all your plans, and like to have this puppet as sort of a reminder of, my friend bought me this is lovely, but also the last time you were wearing this is when you were in hospital, and now you're out doing what you love still, and it was nice to have that little link between it.
I think that's great. And I think that most recent experience you've had is, to me, a very clear indication of the journey. We mentioned it, how I do feel like I've seen your confidence grow. And I feel like the fact that you were able to attend an event still as your very lively, enthusiastic self, but as yourself, I think
absolutely
is very much a testament to where that confidence is growing. Because actually, I think that's one of the joyful things about cosplay is it allows people who don't have that confidence yet to step into a world and step into a scenario that they probably wouldn't do it themselves. It is almost like a shield. And I see these people in cosplay just living like a really exaggerated, lively, joyous version of life. And it's great. And I do feel like it's actually because they have that sort of little shield that is their character and their cosplay. And I feel like I just hope that people who do that are continuously learning and growing, that actually that's all them. That is all them. It's not the outfit. It's 100% them. And the reason people will interact with them and have fun, yes, it might be initiated by, oh, you've got the same, series characters I do, but actually there's relationships you build are all you.
You then get to know
That's
the
amazing.
person for them.
Yes, it's so good.
I think if people can learn to be as confident as they are when in cosplay, you slowly, maybe you wear slightly more casual cosplays as the time goes on, where it's a point where it's almost like you're just wearing your normal clothes. Then you can be more authentic and more you. Yeah,
I,
nice.
I think if people learn that confidence they bring to these conventions in these amazing outfits they produce, once they harness that actually that's something they own and they can bring it with them in
Yeah,
any scenario, into their job, into school, wherever it be, they will realize how unstoppable they really are.
well said.
Yeah,
And it's true. It
yeah.
is true. It is
Mm.
100% true.
If you had a takeaway piece of advice for any cosplayer who maybe is wanting to get into cosplay, but is at that initial step of just, I don't feel confident, or maybe they want to, but there's just something
Hmm.
holding them back. What would you say is just a starting piece of advice that they need to think about and why they should cross that line and get into the world of cosplay?
I think the best way to experience it would probably be to go to a convention, a small little local convention, nothing too out there for the very first time,
Yeah.
especially if you are feeling quite nervous about it. And you don't necessarily have to cosplay. Scope it out, do some research. If you're finding that actually going to an event is too stressful, ask friends, ask online, maybe just like, yeah, do your research and have a little look
Mm,
for local conventions and see what the general sort of
mm,
consensus would be. Get a group of friends together. Don't go by yourself. If
yeah.
you need your sort of my little emotional support friends that are there, to be like, it's true though, isn't it? It's like
Mm,
you should be building each other up and supporting each other, and that's what's so lovely about I think this space that you've created is it's very much a let's support all of our friends. And even though it's it's convention creatives and it's predominantly for setting how to set up a business, and you've made all of these different connections, and it's just lovely to see. And I wish everyone could sort of be more like that and have this as a framework of just be nice to people.
just be nice.
Just be
And
nice.
I,
It's not hard.
I, and the wonderful thing I love about this podcast is that it's the convention creatives, and I would say almost anyone who walks through the doors of a convention fits under the category of a creative, even if they don't
Yeah,
realize it. If you do cosplay, you're being creative. If you're trading, you're being
absolutely.
creative. If you are doing karaoke or playing board games that I am not clever enough to play, that is a level of creativity. And we should just all embrace each other. One big happy family. Nobody say it.
It sounds so corny, but it is so true. It really is true. Like
Absolute
facts,
facts.
spitting
On
facts up
that
here.
truth bombshell, shall we take a little break? I
Go on
think we
then.
should. Let's
Go on
go on
then.
then. Go on then.
To the
Very
break
good. Well
room.
done. To the break room.
Whee!
It's
Proper
my
Wallace and Gromit house.
We are at MegaCon Live this weekend, where you'll be able to find us here. Can you see at 33 on the map? We are beyond excited because, yes, Sonic and Shadow will be there in full colour, and yes, Alistair and Lucifer will be in attendance with a full backdrop, perfect for all your photos and cosplay gatherings. But that's not all. A brand new design featuring my very good pal Werehog is dropping this weekend, and trust us, you do not want to miss it. We can't wait to see you there. Bye!
And we're back with the delightful Tom still. And you, sir, have blown up on TikTok in the last so many months. Like, it's kind of crazy, like, how well you are doing on social media platforms. Like, your profile has risen and risen and risen. When did you even first start doing TikTok? When did you go straight into cosplay TikTok? Were you one of those just casual lurkers for a long time?
I I think I'm awful at TikTok. It scared me. It really did. I was like, I am one of the least coordinated people in the world. And I thought, oh, it's mainly dancing to video, to music, and oh goodness, my taste in music's probably terrible as well. So combine that with my two left feet, and I'm not going to do. This isn't the platform for me. But yeah, it was. It was. I went into sort of the cosplay side of it, and I think I did originally make it when I used to stream, and I was like, I'll upload some clips from the striblob streaming bit onto TikTok and sort of do cross-platform. I think I uploaded one, and then that died a death. I stopped streaming, and I couldn't be bothered to upload stuff because there was such a big back catalogue that I thought no one's going to want to watch this now because I don't really stream. There's no point in doing it. So I uploaded one. It didn't do very well, and I went, I don't think I'm going to do TikTok anymore. Cut to like a year or two later, when I went, I really want to do, because I did media as a BTEC in college, and I loved that. And I went, yeah, you know what? Let's do some little silly videos as Robotnik. And again, it was the flight suit Robotnik. I had a little latte cup, and I mimed along to the "I love the way you make them" sort of bit where
Yeah.
Stone and he's steamed Austrian goat milk, and that did all right. It wasn't like anything. It was just I think just getting something up there and doing it a few times to go, okay, I can put myself out there. It is a bit of a new scary platform, but let's just try it and see. So I did a few little ones here and there. It was very like staggered uploading. I wasn't going, I need to upload every day. And it was only recently that it sort of all blew up. I made a video at, was it an MCM or was it a MegaCon? I think it was an MCM in Birmingham. And I was dressed as Movie 2 Robotnik, and I decided to drown my plush hedgehog that Harriet so lovingly won for me on my 30th birthday from a claw machine in Brighton. And yeah, he's gone through a lot. He's been on the end of a fishing rod and thrown around. Like, I think he's gone through more hardship than the real Sonic the Hedgehog, you know? But that, yeah, I uploaded, I made a stupid little video of just me drowning him. I wasn't even going to use it as content. I just thought it'd be funny to do. My friend filmed it. And I got home and I went, oh yeah, I can upload that, put a bit of the Sonic drowning music to it. It was one of those ones that I didn't really put any effort into. It's just, it existed and I went, out we go. Wake up the next day, 30,000 views. Oh, okay, lovely. And then as the days went on, it was like 90,000, 250,000, 1 million, and it's up to like 3 million. And I went,
It's crazy.
What? How? You never really know what's going to strike people's interests, and I guess the new film was just about to come out, so the hype was there. But I don't know how the algorithm works, or despite cosplaying a genius all the time, I'm quite thick when it comes to anything technological in my life. And yeah, I think I went from 200 follows to about 15k follows in a few days. And again, I've not uploaded tons since because it's just been as and when I've wanted to do it. But yeah, it was quite a surprise. I was like, Harriet refers to me as, oh, you're a TikTok girl now, and I'm like, okay, is that how you see me? But yeah, it was really overwhelming and really, I don't know, I was just surprised by it all. I didn't think, I thought, couldn't happen to me, and lo and behold, people liked what stupidity I was putting out into the world.
And it's very well received. Very well received. Is there any of it that you enjoy making more than others? Is there any particular content you're like, I want to make this?
I think just anything with friends is always fun. As much as I have done content by myself, I just don't get that sort of enjoyment from it. I'll sort of film it, get a bit obsessed, edit, try and make the music sync up, and then just upload it. And it's fun. It's nice to do. But if there's someone else there, like when we went to watch Sonic together, and you helped film a few bits for me and Abby, that was just really nice. And the interactions that we had with the families, the staff, everyone, it was just, that's the sort of content I want to be making. Just fun, silly, sometimes informative. Because, again, I want to start a new series talking more about disabilities and accessibilities at conventions. But if I can bring my sort of laughy, jokey self to take a bit of power away from all of these sort of big daunting things that can really affect people's lives, and I want to do that in a positive and fun way, but as well as informative, because there's nothing worse than spreading misinformation, and at the end of the day, it is only my opinion. These are my experiences. What works for me might not be the same for you, so don't hate me.
You mentioned that some of the content you enjoy most is mainly around this idea of just doing content with other people and friends and doing stuff in that context. Do you actually think your social media has helped you actually connect with other cosplayers?
Oh, tenfold, absolutely. The amount of people that I have had messages from, or I've messaged, just I probably wouldn't speak to them out there in the normal world, day-to-day life, and you get someone going, oh, I think, what you've been posting about your ADHD and your experiences on the tablets or the experience of your seizures, I think that's really brave, which I think when I read it to start with, I went, it's not just me venting to essentially, well, I thought nobody really. It was just I was sort of just uploading bits to kind of get it out of my head, and it was a way of that I dealt with it. But then to get responses from people and advice, and people actually saying, "Oh, I since listening, I've actually been able to go to a convention, or I've started changing things in my own life," and that made me think. It made me go, oh, "Okay, maybe this could be a decent way to use my platform to spread awareness, whilst also I'm doing these things for a bit of fun and just whenever. Maybe I could turn this into a series and help people out, because at the end of the day, I will always hone back to friends, and I love seeing my friends enjoy themselves. I love seeing it. So if that can extend to friends I don't know yet, or people I don't know, and have an impact on them in a positive way, then I'm all for it.
Do you mind if we talk about your experience with your health? Because I think it's something that's actually quite interestingly important to talk about, especially in the context of conventions. For those of you who don't know you or don't necessarily know this side about you, because they've just seen you drown hedgehogs in rivers, for example. In the last 12 months, seizures are something that have become part of your life. Could you give just like a sort of overview, if you will, of like what you're dealing with? Or is it best as people are able to explain it?
Yeah. No, again, I think I would have struggled with this a couple of months ago, but like thanks to the therapy and talking about it so openly and getting advice from doctors, GPs, specialists, friends in similar situations, I've managed to just kind of go, it's part of my life now. I've got to deal with it. I could either give up or I could press forwards and actually just carry on doing the things I love. I don't want to make myself miserable. But my seizures started, funnily enough, at a convention back in May of last year. I'd been out for a night at the Fox with some friends. They were over from America, and we all sort of met up. It was when we got into Hasbin Hotel sort of properly. I was dressed as Fox, but not with the head. I had just a massive lot of blue face paint on, so that was interesting. And yeah, later on in the night, about 12 o'clock, my friend found me just in a bush outside the hotel, just feet over. And I was seizing. I wasn't really breathing much. I had a proper, I don't really know. The 3 or 4 days after, it's just a blur for me still. But yeah, I got into hospital, bank holiday weekend. I've been told I'd had 16 seizures in the space of 3 days. And again, I don't remember being told that. I piece all this together through what Harriet's told me, through the photos I took on my phone, because I was apparently still trying to vlog it and take photos of like achievements like being able to get to the toilet and things like that. So that was nice of myself to document it for me. I'm sorry if I do sound like I'm making light of it all. It's just the way I've kind of dealt with it. So I don't want people to be like, story to tell it. But yeah, I have them. They were very violent. They used to last about 3 or 4 minutes. It would take me probably 20 minutes to half an hour to fully sort of feel like me again. Because when I was in hospital, I'd lose the function of my legs. I'd have cramps. That's how I usually feel them coming on. If I get cramp in my right leg, I would now sort of put myself on the floor and expect one to happen. A lot of the time it doesn't happen anymore, which is great. So that's an improvement. And they've certainly got a lot less frequent and a lot less violent, but they're still quite prominent. And I think I fall within the 20% of people that still have these episodes after like 6 months, which is great, because of course I have to be one of the special ones, one of the unique ones that are like, nah, I'm stubborn, I'm going to carry on with this. But they're called dissociative seizures. They're not epileptic, so as far as I'm aware, there's not medication that would benefit me, but I'm still in the process of, it's been what, 10 months or so. It's still very new in my life. I'm trying to make adjustments so I can live comfortably. Unfortunately, I was let go from my last job because it wasn't a safety critical role, but I did have to be safety competent. It was working on board, like machinery, working on trains. It was just we looked at options that couldn't happen. So I've had to like apply for PIP, various other benefits, which I think I really didn't want to start with. I kind of had to bite the bullet and go, actually, I need a bit of support. It's there if you need support. I need this. And there are little things. I will bounce all over because I got a few visual cues. But I got one of these from Amazon. And it's just like a little lanyard to say that I have seizures. It has all the information that you should do when I have one. Mainly for, because it is scary. I think if you see someone on the ground just like convulsing, you just immediately think, I need to phone an ambulance. Whereas I'm actually fine. The brain activity, the doctor said, was normal, which that was the most shocking thing about the whole hospital endeavour, was they said one, that I had a brain, and two, that it was normal. And I said, I think you might want to redo the scans. And I got like these little like wrist. I feel like I'm back in the 90s, like supporting all my bands and
Love
things
a wristband.
And one of my favourite things someone bought me, I've got about 30 of these, because one Ame, no, it wasn't Ame. Yeah, it wasn't Ame. I think it was Amecon. Seizure the Day. These little, little things which bring me joy. There's so much more that I probably haven't covered. Honestly, there is, because when I first got out of hospital, it destroyed me. Like, I was like, this is it. I could never go and have fun again, which sounds dramatic. But it was. I just felt like this is going to be such a big change if it continues and persists, which they have. But again, have gotten better to some extent. And yeah, I remember cancelling loads of plans. I had loads of conventions planned, like KokoroCon, VienCon, and I just went, no, got to think about money now. If money's not going to be, luckily I was still getting paid at the time. I was off on long-term sick pay, but I was still like, I don't want to be spending money I'm not going to be earning if I am eventually let go from my job.
Yeah.
That was a concern. I was like, I got a mortgage, I got animals and pets to look after, and so yeah, I sort of cancelled everything, and I made myself miserable because I was bedridden for most of it. I was depressed. I didn't know how to deal with any of it. Yeah, it was just sort of taking it day at a time. Some days I felt fine. Some days I felt nothing. I didn't feel like the fluoxetine antidepressants I was on were doing a lot for me. And yeah, it's still have my days, don't get me wrong, but it took my friends kind of messaging me and getting me out of that rut and being like, come to a convention. It's crap. It's really is. You've been dealt a really bad hand here, but we're here to help and support you in any way, shape, or form we can. And yeah, I think actions do speak a lot louder than words. And the amount of people that have been like, "I'll look out for you at conventions," you being one of them, obviously, unbelievable. Like, truly, I'm so thankful for the people who kind of pulled me out of that depression and that sort of state of absolute despair, because I didn't think I'd be enjoying myself like at this time, back then. And I've gone to conventions. I've had seizures at conventions. I had one at SonicCon. I had one at the after party because me and G danced too hard on the sofas. But we got the video of it, so it's fine. But I just get up and carry on now. Like, not like nothing's happened, but I don't let it go, oh, I've had a seizure, I'm going home. Or I've had a seizure, back to square one, I can't do anything I enjoy. I do have to certainly take it easy if I've had one. It depends on the seizure, it depends on the day, it depends how I'm feeling here. There's a lot of factors to it. And I'm still finding a bit of a balance. I'm certainly a lot further along than I was. I'm in a much better place. Like 99% of the time now, I'm my happy, smiley self, which is great. But there is still like, the odd day where you go, I can't do it. I want to lock myself away. And it's fine to do that and just feel like shit for a day. As long as you don't completely shut yourself off from the outside world and the people that do care. Because there are a lot of people that care, even if you don't think in your own head there are. That
Yeah,
imposter
so true.
syndrome comes creeping in.
Mm.
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there that do want to help and want what's best for you, which is really nice.
It is very nice. I guess it has brought you a different context and viewpoint being back at conventions because, like you said, it took you a long time to feel even comfortable attending one.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any particular challenges that you're facing or have faced in terms of accessibility, or anything that you're still navigating and trying to understand how that works for you?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely still learning, and the one thing I don't want to do is just be like, oh, there was one bad thing that happened at this convention, so it's going to put me off all future conventions. I think it's going about it in a constructive way, like Pokemon EUIC, brilliant. The staff were really friendly. I was wearing this, and some people would come and say, "Oh, come to the front of the line. We'll get you a seat." And you wouldn't necessarily get a fast pass into these things, but it would be like, come and just have a rest away from everyone. And when it's your turn, which was lovely. That was really good. They had accessibility queues for some things, which was great. There was a lot of space. Yeah, that was a really good experience from a con. And another one, which I haven't even gone to yet, is Kokoro Con. They saw that I put about my seizures on my form, and they emailed me. They emailed me saying like, "Oh, what can we do to help? If or can we have a bit more information? Because if something does happen, we do have people on hand who are like first aiders and can help in a crisis." And I was like, "That's great. I haven't even had to reach out to you and explain. You've actively come to me and said," which felt really nice. I felt seen. I felt like, oh, I wasn't just a bother or a burden, because I think when I first sort of was diagnosed with seizures, I thought, I'm going to be a real pain in the ass for everyone, and that's not how you should be made to feel. It really isn't. Like, people have been suffering with disabilities, much longer than I have. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, woe is me and diddle. But conventions should be a place where everyone can feel safe, supported, confident. Like, you go in there to have a good time, and if that's hindered by like staff, quite frankly, being very unaware and uninformed, if even if it's like the company hasn't told them, you can use a bit of common sense. And if you see someone who's in a wheelchair that is going, because this happened to my friend, they weren't allowed to use the accessible toilets, even though clearly they were eligible and needed to, and they actually ended up wetting themselves. And like, how that's going to destroy someone's confidence to go into a convention, where just someone just said, of course you can, head on in. You don't need a card. You don't need like a physical bit of evidence to be like, this is what I suffer with.
Yeah.
Please help, because like, just make my life as easy as it is for, I have to think about going downstairs carefully now, or plan my journeys, like getting into town, because I'm like, I could drop at any second. I don't want to use that as a fear to be like, I'm never going to go out of the house again. But I think as long as conventions listen, and I'm sort of talking mainly about the bigger conventions, because I think the little conventions, the fan-run ones, again, they have a lot less attendees to worry about, and in that sense they can focus more on individuals. But it should just be across the board, sort of common knowledge and out there, to make everyone feel like they can access these, because I think what people think, they think, oh yeah, accessibility, cool, we're putting a ramp, sorted,
Fixed it.
The quiet room at SonicCon, perfect example. People who suffer with like autism or overstimulation, if you have a quiet room and a little safe space where you can just go to relax and just get a little bit lost in your thoughts and just try and calm down, I think more conventions should have those little spaces to make people feel comfortable, and have a few, like we used to at work. We had some mental health first aiders that were volunteers. If you were feeling a bit rubbish, you go and have a word with them. They're trained to help make you feel better. Surprisingly, like there are people out there that
Yeah.
can do that. But yeah, I think just raising a bit of awareness, talking about the things that happen at conventions, because it's easy to go, cool, something bad happened, have a bit of a rant about it, blah blah blah. That's where you kind of end it. Email the convention, let them know your
Yeah.
bad experience, raise that awareness, have a voice, because if we don't say anything about it, nothing's going to change.
True.
And it's not doing it from a point of trying to be a dick about it. It's not, is it? Is it? You're just trying to enjoy yourself and feel. Because I know there are people that will complain about anything. Try having some real problems. You know? Actually, don't try it. It's awful. But yeah, I think as long as people are willing to listen and make reasonable adjustments. I'm getting that it can't just be like that. I wish it could.
Yeah.
It won't be. Paperwork exists and it takes a long time to implement these things. But the more diverse, the more aware, the more these big all conventions, anywhere can sort of take on board these decisions and make it's great because it makes me feel, if I feel safe at a convention, that's you know, it's kind of the number one thing, isn't it? It doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot.
It doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't take a lot, and it's something that I noticed you covering more and more in your social media and talking about more and more. Why do you think it is important to spread awareness about the accessibility or sometimes the lack thereof at these events?
I've had a few people message me and say that they've never felt confident enough to go to a convention because they fear that they aren't catered for, they aren't thought about, they aren't of the owner's concerns. And I think as soon as you're thinking like that, of course you're not going to want to go and, you know, put yourself out there, and you feel quite vulnerable. So it's so important to make these adjustments for people because everyone deserves to be happy.
Yes.
Everyone deserves to be happy, and not even just happy, like just comfortable. I'd draw a line at comfortable, just like, you know, sort of mid thumb up. That would be great.
Yeah.
It would make me incredibly sad, and it does make me incredibly sad, knowing that there are people out there that want to experience these things and want to do these things, but don't feel like they will be looked after.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they can go and do this because someone else has essentially said, yeah, if you can walk in here, if you're neurotypical, that's absolutely fine, but we haven't thought about XYZ of this on the like mental health sort of spectrum or disability. Everyone deserves a shot at it. Like much like cosplayers for everyone, conventions are for everyone.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything, because obviously event organizers, it's amazing the ones that do well, the ones who aren't there yet, I think it's perfectly fair to reach out to them and speak to them. But as a community ourselves, people actually going to these conventions, a community that we're both a part of, is there anything that we can think about as a community to be more inclusive and sort of understanding of accessibility needs as attendees?
I think to realise that not all disabilities are visual, like, you know, it's you don't always know. So just be nice to everyone. If you see someone struggling, like you've seen it before, I've seen someone disassociating on the floor at MegaCon, and just go over and say, "You all right?" And a lot of the time, they'll probably be like, "Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, but thanks for, you know, asking." It just takes that one person to ask, because it is easy to just walk by people, and you know, it's like not my problem. But I will try my best to look it up and understand and be supportive of, you know, if a friend does end up having something like that. It's so nice to be able to have these sort of conversations. And I think having these sort of conversations is what we should be having in the communities. Like, just we're doing it. We're doing it right here, right now. This is the sort of thing that, you know, does raise awareness. And if you don't know, ask. Like, again, I appreciate you going, is 100%. It all right to talk about this sort of thing? I'm like, absolutely. Like, you know, I'll talk about it till the cows come home. And, you know, it's really, I'm really grateful that you want to listen, you want to learn, and you want to sort of raise awareness much as I do. So yeah, more things happening like this would be great. Whether that comes in the form of being on a podcast, just meeting up at a convention and talking about it in person, just popping it in conversation here and there. We're all learning together, which is kind of nice in a way.
I must say it's been so interesting to see, like you said, I remember the initial posts you did on social media and more your personal social media when you were initially having these issues and stuff, and when you were in hospital, and it's so good to see you not only out up and out again, but also very consciously not being ashamed, not being afraid to talk about it, wearing it on your sleeve, being very transparent. I think transparency is such a key, because I think people really learn when they see the truth of what a scenario is like, and there isn't any like, you don't have to feel awkward about it. This is just life, and this is just how it is. I think overall, I hope people listening to this and people who just follow you online are inspired by that awareness you bring, and I hope it encourages other people who are either going through similar things or know people who are, to just be more open and really have that dialogue. Speaking of dialogue, shall we take a quick break before we get into some intense questioning?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I think I need to go get a cup of tea or something. I don't like the eyebrows. The eyebrows, I'm worried now.
So usually for the mailbag segment, we have our pigeon called Coop. But every time I'm on my own, he doesn't actually show up himself. But I see, looking at your shoulder, that he's brought in one of his substitutes while he's on leave. So he's brought along Mojo the parrot.
Yeah, my good little boy. You all right, mate?
So it looks like it's Mojo's first day on the job. It doesn't look like he's very experienced at delivering mail.
He's a bit small.
He is a bit small,
You're a bit
to be
small,
fair.
aren't you? But don't let people tell you what to do just because you're small. You got this. Yeah. Good little lad. He'll give it a go. Good lad. Certainly.
You will get. So I believe because he is at your house, it means he's delivered you letters. Because when we have a guest on the segment, we don't have our wonderful audience, you guys at home, ask us a question. We allow the guest. It's a guest opportunity after they've been literally talking to me for over an hour of me grilling them. It's their opportunity to turn the tables and ask the host a question. So, Tom.
Now I have the evil eyebrows.
What question do you have in the mailbag for me today? What would you like to ask?
Let's have a look, shall we? He did bring some stuff.
Oh?
Yeah,
oh wow.
He's chewed it a bit. But no, my question for you would probably be, if you could cosplay anyone, any series, like money's not an issue, like budget and materials, just is there anyone that stands out to you who you'd really want to be, really want to make the costume and be them for a day?
So there's two answers to that, and it changes every time I think about it. I feel like because my name has Eggman in it, at some point I should do an Eggman. I don't know what era of Eggman. I don't know what version of Eggman. But I feel like at some point I should do an Eggman. I feel like
you're basically there today, aren't you? Really, like the hoodie.
I'm not far off. Like that. Eggman when he's wearing a little cute Gilbone beanie, but I feel like he will most definitely end up being one of the options if I ever had to do cosplay. But then there's another part of me that would really like to. I don't know how this would work. Like, I really don't know how this would work, but I would really like to cosplay as my bear from the podcast.
Oh, you should. Yes.
Like,
that's a great answer.
I would love to cosplay as Jay Bear one day. I don't know how. I don't know what that would look like. But I cannot stress to you how much I love that bear. I adore that bear. I love how he looks. He is adorable. Of course he's adorable. He's an artistic representation of me, so therefore he is adorable.
Of course he would be.
But I love him. I want a beanie of him, which physically won't happen because that would be one beanie. So not really a business-wise move to make one individual beanie. But yeah, I feel like maybe one day if I ever decide to have a fursuit, maybe it'll be off
do
a
you
bear.
go full on fursuit?
Let's just
Cool
go
would
full
that
furry.
Yeah,
It'll be
no,
so
do it.
good.
Do it. Yeah. That's great. No, I think you should.
That's a very good question. I think Mojo did a very good job.
Thanks, mate.
So we've done the hard mailbag. I guess it's time we talk about weekly hyperfixation. I'm curious, does Mojo have a hyperfixation this week?
Biting my wife. Just to be clear, that is Mojo's hyperfixation. Just, in case anyone misheard and thought, right, I was with him up until now. He's a weirdo. Yeah,
For those listening and not watching, Mojo the parrot's hyperfixation is biting you.
Yeah, he's bitten Harriet quite a lot this week, which is very naughty of you.
Very good hyperfixation. Mine was a bit weird this week because it's... So usually my hyperfixations are something that are usually almost like a hobby or a distraction. But my hyperfixation has been, at the moment, planning for the next conventions I'm attending. In the sense that and again, when people watch this, it will give them an idea of just how crazy the recording schedule is, because in the time you're listening to this, this happened ages ago. But in the time we're recording, I only recently just did Animanga Pop and did all the videos I did there. And it was really a key moment for me of being like, ooh, this is what I want my content coverage convention to be. Sort of finding my feet in MegaCon. Wasn't 100% happy with what I did, but like it was on the right path, which was just something, because you've got to there's a lot of trial and error, this sort of stuff.
Of course.
But Animanga Pop, I was like, I feel like I've hit this on the head of what I want this to look like and who I want to be in this content.
I want you to be a full-time Beyblade commentator, because gripping, riveting stuff like that was
just twatting each other, twatting and more twatting. That's it is. Look, I love everyone who does Beyblade.
So good. No, I love that
adore
video
everyone who
you
does
did.
Beyblade.
I love that video you did. It's so good.
But what I don't understand about Beyblade, and I'm actively asking anyone out there who is into Beyblade and knows this community, please reach out to me. I am specifically asking to be educated on it. I want to interview a Beyblade expert and someone school me on Beyblade, because otherwise I'm just going to continue saying they keep trying each other, because that's all I see.
But that could be your signature line. That could be your signature bit of commentary. You could say
that's what's going to get me. And one day I'm going to be so renowned for it. They're going to invite me on stage to actually commentate these events and be like, "Well, that one's twatting the other one, and it's fallen over. So I guess the other one's won." That would be my.
I'd love commentary like that.
That would be so good. It would be so good. No, but doing all that content, and my hyperfixation now is thinking okay, what equipment do I need? I want the next event to be a step up, and it's going to be stressful, I think, because it's a much bigger event, but we shall see. I'm quite excited. So that is my hyperfixation. Hyperfixation is basically work. Amazing.
No, but it's fun work. It's fun work.
Yes, it is the best fun. I really enjoy it. And I'm glad that I'm trusted to roam the artist alleys and bother people in the most endearing way that I know how.
I thought the interviews were brilliant. It was. I bet the artists loved. Well, you can tell the artists loved it as well. Really, to be honest.
So yeah, that's my hyperfixation. But as we always do in this podcast, we follow things that bring us joy by getting rid of things we love.
Oh no.
Time to choose it or lose it, bitch.
Oh no! I was dreading this. This is. I don't know what this bit's going to be. This is scary.
See, for those of you who have not watched this segment before, we play a game called Choose It or Lose It, where occasionally I would usually put PB in a bit of a pickle, but he's not here today. So Tom, the lovely striblob, is here to be my subject and victim, and he gets put in a very tricky situation where he has to choose between two things. And one of them, he has to kick off the edge of a cliff and lose forever. It's always a cliff. So Picture the scene, the original scene. You're stood on the edge of a cliff. To your left is all your Eggman cosplays. On the right is all your iterations of your Vox cosplay. You have to decide, who are you never going to cosplay as us again? Are you going to ditch your favorite has-been hotel character? Are you going to... There he is. He's watching
right
you as you
there.
decide.
He's right
And then
there.
literally a few meters below him is the other one. And when I say all Eggman cosplays, that's the whole Eggman lineage, including Gerald. So who are you saying I'm never gonna cosplay as ever again?
Oh, that's really mean. That's really
That's
mean.
the game. That's the game.
Because you go through these hyperfixations. Now, sometimes where I'm like, I really want to do Vox instead of Robotnik, and vice versa. Like, again, I've got a Vox shrine in my room, like, of all my pins, and it's slowly, I feel really bad, but there's a picture of me and Harriet on this little corkboard, and slowly it's just been dwarfed by, like, Vox taking over. And I'm like, I can't put it over our faces because that'll be. But yeah, there's so much Vox, and again, like, he does have different outfits, and there are. See, my initial thought was just to go, this will be easy. Of course, I want to keep doing Robotnik, but I've made so many friends through, like, the Has-Been Hotel community, and I don't know if there is anyone else I want to cosplay from Has-Been Hotel. I think I would have to. Sorry, mate. I think I would have to yeet Vox. As much as I love that handsome, sexy TV man, I'd put all the costume into the head, and I'd just be like, I'm sorry. I'd give him a little kiss, and I'd throw him and cry, because I love Vox. I have so much love for Vox, but I think there are so many more versions of Eggman. There are more cosplay opportunities to do, like you say, the lineage. Watch Has-Been Hotel do a really cool, like, design of Vox for the next season now, and I will eat these words and I will hate myself for it. But season 2 Vox, it'd be like, yeah, peak design, and I'd be like, great, I can never cosplay him again. But yeah, I think I've got too much love for Robotnik, and especially Jim Carrey's portrayal of him.
A bold decision, a crazy one that shocked me to my core.
Were you really surprised by that?
No.
No.
On that dramatic note, it's the end of the episode, Tom. Can you believe it?
I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it.
We don't want this to end. It is very, very sad. But I will say a massive thank you for joining us today. You have been an absolute delight to talk to. You've been so informative, and I am very happy that we've been able to give some more ears on the amazing work you're doing, and using your social media for. It is very, very awesome.
Oh, thank you. No, again, like, thanks for reaching out and wanting to have such silly Billy such as myself on the show, because I love it. I do love it.
The bestest of silly billies.
The bestest of silly billies. I'll take that. That's a nice sort of, like, upgrade from the comments you made at the start of the episode.
If people want to find you online, where should they be looking?
Yes, so I'm most active on Instagram. So you can find me, if you search striblob.cos, short for cosplay, you can find me on Instagram. If you type striblob into Twitter, I do have a Twitter, but I don't tend to really use it. TikTok, the same, striblob. It's not a common name, so I'll probably pop up. If it's a bold guy, it's probably me. I don't upload tons, but I do pop on my stories quite frequently, so that's where I've been doing most of the, so, like, talking about disabilities, accessibility, and seizures. I definitely want to do more, like, short little reels and things. And like you said, you tried stuff out, and there's stuff that you want to improve on for the next episode, like, for the next series or the next way you film something. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to continue to do, and that's half the fun, isn't it? Seeing where it'll go from this little idea that you had in your head to, oh, I've actually made, this is my baby now, this is my child, and like, look at the podcast, man. Like, how cool is this? Like,
yes. Talking about podcast, find the link for all of Striblob stuff in the description. But also, if you want to check out our stuff, you can go to the description or just go anywhere online and type www.theconcreatives.com and it will list all those wonderful things. On top of that, we're The Con Creatives at everywhere. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on X, if anyone uses that anymore. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Just look out there, you will find us. If you're listening to this, you can't escape
it's
us.
everywhere.
It's impossible to hide from us. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give our podcast a 5-star review. It does not cost you anything, but actually helps us in the best way possible. Also, if you do have a few pennies lying around and would like to support the podcast financially, because it is not free to make, unfortunately, you can go to theconcreatives.com and there is a tab called Shop now where you can buy a variety of badge buttons, key rings, and even, only available online, an awesome sweatshirt and t-shirt, I think, of our little cute animal bears. So I want, if I saw anyone at a con wearing the t-shirt with J Bear on it, I think my mind would break in all the best ways possible. So, if you want to meet me at a con and break my brain, do that. Buy a t-shirt, buy a sweatshirt. They're very good. I will be wearing one myself at MegaCon. So, look forward to that. On that note, thank you again, Tom. Thank you for listening, everyone. And we will see you again next week. And now I'm going to sleep. Sleepy time.
Little.
I can't recline my chair. I will. Just
I can. It's great. I can just be like, bye. I don't know how I get back up from because I think this is how. All right, Gerald. This is where I live now. This is where I live. It's not. Oh no, I'm going off the back. I think I might actually fall off.
Oh God. Hello, Manda. For those listening, everything is fine. Bye.